Success factors for parcel spend management. Well, joining us to speak about that today, Josh Dunham, CEO of Reveel. Josh, it's great to see you once again. Welcome.
Thank you, Russell.
Josh, just a month or so back, you joined us for a webinar and you talked to the folks at that time about Parcel consulting. In fact, I think you may have termed it the death of Parcel consulting. Give us just a quick recap, if you will, of what it was that you spoke about at that time. But before you do that, tell us just a little something about Reveel itself. What's the focus of the company? How are you enhancing the operations of your customers?
Yeah, good question. So Reveel is a parcel spend management data and analytics company. So our job is to essentially help businesses that ship a lot of parcel save money, become more efficient.
Mm-hmm. So then when you met with us a month or so back and spoke with us about Parcel consulting, as I say, give us a quick recap. What did you tell folks at the time?
Yeah, so we're in an interesting transition in our business. And that question, is parcel consulting dead, kind of strikes home pretty close to home for us because we, traditionally speaking, have been parcel consultants. Now, what we've done over the course of the last couple of years as a byproduct of what we've been asked by our customers is to create a technology to where our customers have the ability to do things like carrier parcel negotiations on their own, so that they don't have to engage a consultant to come in and help them. So to answer that question, is parcel consulting dead? The simple answer is no. However, the parcel consulting negotiation landscape will forever change. And the engagements that parcel consulting consultants, the engagements that they have with their customers will be changed forever. And it'll be more of the complex engagements that parcel consultants will still be relevant in. But when you have more simple engagements, think maybe one or two carriers, our customers now have the ability to do that on their own inside of an application.
Now let's think about who is watching you and me speak today. Could be a number of shippers who have just recently optimized their agreements. So I guess my question to you would be, what advice do you have for those folks? What do you tell them?
Absolutely, that's great. Number one, you've optimized the agreement, you've got it in place, well done. Now you can't just sit back and relax though. No. Agreements are great the day that you have them in place, but really from that point on, they start to decay. And what I mean by that is you need to consistently now and actively manage the agreement. Because there's going to be things that happen during the course of that agreement that will alter the optimization of that agreement. And one thing, for example, might be your shipping profile changes. Maybe you introduce a new product, a new SKU. Now your agreement isn't going to be optimized for that specific product. There's other things that you have to continually monitor as well, such as expiring discounts.
No.
So oftentimes in the agreements, the carriers will give you discounts, but they'll put shelf lives on things that have expiration dates. And then the other thing to be on the watch for is movement in your revenue tiers. So the carriers will give you a certain discount based on spend levels. Now, if you ship more, they'll give you a little bit more discount, but if you ship less, you can lose discounts. So those are all things to be on the lookout for.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's don't just talk in terms of the theoretical. Have you seen companies making these errors, these missteps, and then consequently have suffered to some extent or another? Have any examples along those lines?
Yeah, sadly we have seen it. We've seen instances where, discounts will expire. And in the vast majority of interviews that we conducted with our customers, at times, there were times where the carrier came in and notified them and said, hey, these discounts expired. Let's go ahead and, create an addendum or renew them. But there were often a lot of times where the carriers, quite honestly, didn't come in the door and didn't notify the customer. And it took, 90 days, in some cases up to 120 or 180 days before the customer finally realized what had happened. So those are instances where, unfortunately, those things happen. Similarly to falls and adjustments or alterations in revenue tiers. Oftentimes, companies have no idea, whether or not they are close to falling out of a revenue band. or close to jumping and increasing, in their revenue tier and getting more discounts. And we've seen it happen. I can't tell you how many times to where you can lose discounts and quite honestly just not know about it.
Josh, are these pitfalls that the industry is generally aware of, or would you say that there are an awful lot of folks who are not really cognizant of these challenges that they need to be aware of? What would you say?
Yeah, I would say in general, they are instances that the industry is aware of that they could occur. Now, what's interesting is the difficulty is when it happens, being aware of when it happens. So I think in general, they absolutely understand that this could happen, but it's very, very difficult to pinpoint when it does actually happen. And when it does happen, it can oftentimes be extremely painful.
Josh, final question. Since there was a lot of really positive feedback with your webinar back in May with us, we have now scheduled another webinar with you coming up in October 18th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you could, can you give us a little sneak preview of what it is that you're likely to be addressing then? Tell the viewer why they need to be watching. What do you say?
Yeah, so we've already talked about is Parcel Consulting dead? And we've talked a little bit about optimizing an agreement. The next step in optimizing is to really monitor, and it's to actively manage, not only your carrier agreement, but actively managing your parcel spend altogether. And that's exactly what we're going to touch on in the next webinar.
Well, that's great stuff. I'm hoping that folks are going to, after hearing you today, are going to mark their calendars October 18th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and be checking it out. Josh, I know you're busy here at this conference, but you found time to speak with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Russell.
It's Josh Dunham, CEO with Reveel, speaking with us today about parcel spend management. Thanks for watching.